judge. Dredd may be the law, but I am the judge. And today, we're going to have a look at another fan film. This one is actually from Adi Shankar, who's a pretty big producer. He's done a lot of great productions, including the new Castlevania show that's on Netflix. He, a while ago, decided to make a little animated film about Judge Dredd. It's called Superfiend, and we're going to check it out. This animation comes to us from Angry Metal, which I believe was a project Adi Shankar was working on, where he decided, why don't we just mix up a bunch of different characters, well-known IP, and put them into different situations. It's also, I believe, the same group that brought us that Power Rangers fan film that caused a lot of controversy. And to anybody who doesn't know the comics really well, this is going to be a little bit confusing at the start. I'll try to talk you through it. There's a total of 6 episodes of Superfiend. You can either watch them as individuals, they're about 5 or 6 minutes apiece, or you can actually watch the entire film all together as one. It's about 27 minutes total. I'll be doing it in the 6 installments here.
Judge Sidney to control. I've got a sexual assault on my hands.
So we are basically starting off this series, or this animation, by following the exploits of Judge Sidney. And his behavior is very unbecoming of a street judge. He's quite psychotic, actually. And there's actually a reason for that, which I will get into later. This is actually canon with the comic book, but if you don't understand a lot of the comic lore, like obviously Adi Shankar does, this might seem very out of keeping with a standard judge's upholding the law perspective. In fact, for myself, it wasn't until I got to this car chase toward the end of this first episode that I actually started to like this, because I wasn't liking where Judge Sidney was going to or coming from, but I didn't realize it was that Judge Sidney. We'll talk about that in a second.
They're hiding out in the disco crater. Their crime is the manufacture and distribution of Stookie, the youth drug.
Drug dealers? Not interested.
This will be the 3rd strike for the Angel Gang. The sentence is death.
If that grin looks familiar, there's a reason for that, but we'll get to that. This is episode number 2, and we're continuing with Judge Sidney and his desire to just go out and kill as many perps as he can, which I appreciate wanting to squash perp behavior, but not to the degree that Sidney's doing it. Again, it's that Judge Sidney, and we''t get to that in a minute. I like the fact that the Angel Gang has shown up. Sidney heads up to the outlying area in the cursed earth. And while out in the wasteland, he makes an encounter.
See the guy in uniform, nausea? Ew, hard not to, phobia. I've been watching him.
He meets up with Nausea and Phobia, who appear to be giant monster women, but are in fact the Sisters of Death, and that is from the comic book.
Down, hotshot. You didn't need life to do that.
Because yes, by episode 3 we discover it's that Judge Sidney. In the comic books, Judge Sidney was a street judge, just like Dredd, in an alternate dimension. One where the Sisters of Death changed him, morphed him into Judge Death. And in that world, which became Dead World that everybody knew in the comic books, all of the judges wiped out all life. And then they came to the Mega City 1 universe. In this show, in this animation, Adi Shankar's kind of blurring the line. It looks like our own Mega City 1 at the beginning of the show. And then suddenly, this Judge Sidney is going around killing everybody quite maniacally and turns into Judge Death. It is within the context of the comic, but if you don't know that, it's got to be confusing. However, let's get past that because Death is here, and you know Dread won't be far behind. Here comes the big man himself. And I gotta say, I really like the depiction both of Dread and Death in this cartoon.
Please don't kill me! Bullets are precious, and I ain't wasting one on you, Chunky. Hershey, take this filth to the ISO cubes. The sentence is 10 years for possession of narcotics.
Thank you, Lord Judge.
Control to Judge Dredd.
Dread to control. I'm up to my ankles in entrails here. What do you want?
It's about your brother Rico. He's been reported missing from his work camp on Titan. Surveillance cameras picked him up at the spaceport this morning. He's here, Dredd. Rico's in Mega City 1.
Damn it.
I missed you, Daddy. Where have you been all this time?
Listen, children. Are you eating piano?
Why not?
It's not healthy. You could lose your teeth.
Is that what happened to your face, Daddy?
No, Linda. What happened to me?
Judge Rico's here.
Another story.
But he's looking a little different from when Armand Asante was performing him, don't you think?
Hey, Uncle Joe! Uncle Joe! We're over here!
No, here no. They are right there.
Now this is actually in keeping with the comic book. Judge Rico did have a whole bunch of reconstructive surgery done on his face. It was called the Titan treatment. Look it up. It's easier if you just do the research yourself instead of me trying to explain it.
Daddy, he's Uncle Joe.
He's not my brother anymore. He's a judge now. Greetings.
Now, admittedly, that's the first part of this animation I didn't understand. Why would Dredd just walk right past Death without any kind of concern or wanting to arrest him? But I think Adi Shankar is just having fun in the world of Judge Dredd with this cartoon series, and some of the stuff in the upcoming episodes is bonkers, but fun, I suppose?
Aerial to control. We located the fugitive. He's inside Magbatti's 43rd floor. Suspect is armed.
Uncle Joe? What's wrong with Dad? Uncle Joe?
Vienna. Your father is dead. Dead. He's dead, Vienna.
Again, some very strange moments in this cartoon, but they're funny. I guess it was sort of a tongue-in-cheek depiction of the Dredd universe.
Death is when people they don't come back.
Daddy!
lot of life inside you, my dear. But don't worry. That can be fixed.
Daddy, what's that?
Daddy.
You will mean the world to me, and I will mean yours too. And I will be your
Since Death has taken over Rico's body, he's now playing with Rico's daughter in a way that's kind of weirdly tongue-in-cheek and funny. It's a hilarious moment. It actually works for me.
Hey, Uncle Joe! Over here! Daddy's gonna introduce me to my aunts Nadia and Phobia.
So Death says he's going to take the daughter to go and meet Aunt Nausea and Phobia, the sisters of Death. There's no way Dread's going to let that happen. So he actually pursues in what has to be the most crazy car-bike chase I've ever seen.
You, scum, you got one option. You give me the kid, and I give you a fast trial.
Daddy told me my brain is full of worms.
What?
Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut the ending because it's pretty gory and very mature in content, and I like to keep my shows as clean as I possibly can. But if you're interested, if you like what you see, check it out. I'll put a link below to Adi Shankar's main channel and then the Superfiend series itself. It's very interesting. Adi Shankar also actually was involved in the Dread 3D Carl Urban film. He has quite a few interviews at his channel where he discusses what are the problems and implications of trying to get a sequel made to Dread. It's very interesting stuff, so I highly recommend it. But yes, I love Superfiend. The animation's great. The capture of the personalities is good. Some of the values are out the window, but I think that's sort of what Adi Shankar was going for. Highly recommend it, worth checking it out. I like it. It gets a commendation from me. Until next time, stay out of trouble.